Comfort doesn't announce itself as a problem. It arrives quietly, as relief, as efficiency, as something earned. A smoother process, a faster answer, a life with fewer sharp edges. Comfort promises peace, but comfort is not neutral. Every form of comfort removes something along with the friction, and what it removes is rarely obvious at first. Because comfort doesn't take violently, it takes gradually. Modern life frames comfort as progress. If something is difficult, we're told to optimize it. If something is slow, we automate it. If something creates tension, we smooth it out. Effort becomes inefficiency. Discomfort becomes a flaw. And over time, the absence of resistance starts to feel like intelligence. But resistance is not always an obstacle. Sometimes it's a signal. Friction tells you where effort is required. Discomfort tells you where growth lives. When comfort eliminates friction completely, it doesn't just make life easier, it makes life quieter. No one wakes up one day and realizes they've lost something important. The loss is too subtle. Curiosity dulls before it disappears. Patience erodes before it's noticed. Attention fragments before it collapses. Comfort doesn't steal focus outright. It replaces it with convenience. Why search when it's delivered? Why decide when it's optimized? Why struggle when it's simplified? Each trade feels reasonable until thinking itself begins to feel unnecessary and even exhausting. The human nervous system prefers stability. Predictability feels safe. Ease feels efficient. Comfort feels earned. This is why systems that offer comfort are trusted instinctively. They don't threaten, they assist. They reduce cognitive load. They remove uncertainty. They promise relief from constant decision making. But every decision you don't make yourself is a decision you don't practice. And unpracticed faculties don't stay sharp. They atrophy. Control no longer looks like force. It looks like support. Modern systems don't demand obedience. They offer ease. They guide behavior by reducing resistance in one direction and quietly increasing it everywhere else. Nothing is forbidden. Nothing is punished. Certain paths are just smoother, and most people take the smooth path, not because they're weak, but because friction feels unnecessary when comfort is available. This is the architecture of modern influence. Identity is shaped by repeated behavior. What you do consistently becomes what you believe is normal. What you avoid consistently becomes what you believe is unreasonable. Comfort shifts that baseline. Effort begins to feel excessive. Silence feels awkward. Boredom feels intolerable. And slowly, the idea of choosing difficulty begins to feel irrational. not because it is, but because comfort has trained the nervous system to expect ease. This is the cost that isn't listed. Comfort doesn't remove choice, it reframes it. You're still free to choose effort, free to slow down, free to resist optimization. But when every system nudges you toward ease, when effort is framed as inefficiency, when discomfort is framed as failure, the feeling of freedom remains, while the practice of agency quietly fades. This is how choice survives without independence. Comfort is invisible to those inside it, because nothing feels wrong. Life continues, responsibilities are met, pleasures are available. There is no dramatic collapse, just a gradual narrowing of inner space. Fewer moments of silence, fewer unconstructed thoughts, fewer encounters with discomfort that might sharpen awareness. Most people don't notice because nothing breaks. It simply becomes easier to stop paying attention. The response to comfort is not rejection, it's discipline. The operator doesn't romanticize hardship. They don't chase discomfort for its own sake. They reintroduce friction intentionally. They slow decisions. They sit with boredom. They choose silence when noise is available. Not to suffer, but to retain sovereignty over attention and identity. Comfort becomes a tool, not a default. Attention is the first casualty of unchecked comfort, because comfort removes the need to focus. Everything is prearranged, pre-filtered, pre-digested. This is why attention becomes fragmented, not from overload, but from the lack of resistance. The mind sharpens against friction. Without it, awareness drifts, and a drifting mind is easy to guide. Comfort was never free. It was paid for slowly, with attention, with patience, with the ability to sit in uncertainty. The question is not whether comfort is evil. The question is whether you are aware of what it costs you, and whether you're still choosing it consciously, because the price of comfort is not paid in money. It's paid in awareness.